Hey, it's Sarah from your iDS Capstone class. Currently, I'm working on some research at the intersection of philosophy of science and political economy. You're probably wondering, how did I end up at that intersection? Well, it's all thanks to the Interdisciplinary Studies program, because when I started at UCF, I had no idea what philosophy of science even was. And I feel like a lot of people might be in the same boat. I was talking to Dr. Whittle a couple months ago in one of her office hours about this amazing experience she had teaching about philosophy of love with the Florida Prison Education Project, a project through UCF where professors go and they teach prisoners about certain subjects and help them to develop critical thinking and dialoguing skills with each other. And I said, wow, that would be a great way to connect all of this reading and research I do with the real world. So Dr. Whittle was kind enough to agree to let me make my iDS Capstone service learning project, helping her to build a curriculum for a philosophy and science religion class to be taught through the Florida Prison Education Project, FPEP. So what I needed to do was reach out to a few key players and do some fieldwork, informal and formal research. I reached out to the FPEP staff members, and they said that they loved the idea of a philosophy of science and religion curriculum, and they wanted to emphasize that it was very dialogue and community oriented and also help prisoners develop their critical thinking skills. I also reached out to my old philosophy of science professor at UCF, Dr. Luis Favela, who works in the philosophy department, to get some pointers on what would be a really good way to introduce philosophy to a group of students who might have varying education backgrounds, from none to maybe even a college education, and also might have varying ideas of what philosophy is and what science is and what religion is. I worked with Dr. Favela and Dr. Whittle to develop a 6-part curriculum. The first week included everyone discussing what they thought, how they thought they knew something, and what they thought knowledge is. The second week, we introduced them to what philosophers of science and philosophers of religion have found that knowledge may be, or how people come to know things. Then the third and fourth weeks are really fun, engaging units that have to do with topics at the intersection of philosophy and science and religion. The first unit has to do with astrobiology and origin stories, so understanding where things come from, even all the way to if aliens are in outer space and what that means from a religious and a scientific perspective. The second fun unit has to do with the intersections of climate change, climate denial, and religion. And it also has to do with creation stories and how the earth might change and how that might be viewed by different religions. Then our fifth unit had to do with a summary of the course, all that we had learned, and then where it might take our prisoners in life and how that they can apply that to their community in prison and then with their families and their broader community when they're out. And then our sixth unit is kind of like a fun reflection, celebration of everything they'd learned and feedback on the course, and then discussions of what they'd like to see and learn more about. So all that said, I think the key integrative insights I took from this project are: one, that it's really great and a really good way to build a curriculum to tie together two disparate fields to find their interdisciplinary interconnections, like with philosophy of science and philosophy of religion, because that's a really great way to have a high impact, engaging, collaborative learning experience. And I think it's one way that will affect prisoners, not just in their prison communities, but how they relate with their families and community when they get out. And then also avoiding recidivism, which is like future imprisonment. And then I think the key insight I got is that as someone trying to learn the philosophy of science and religion, it's really good sometimes to just break out of your academic shell, break out of the jargon and the language and the customs of academia to go learn at a different setting and view the discipline again from the eyes of someone who doesn't really know much about it. And so I would challenge everyone, no matter what you love, try to break out of the academic shell, get out in the community, and engage others with it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to learn about my iDS Capstone Service Learning Impact Project. A huge thanks for Dr. Whittle for agreeing to do the service learning project and for being an awesome professor. Thank you to Dr. Luis Favela for his invaluable insights in the philosophy of science curriculum. And thank you to the FPEP for being willing to let me try to build this curriculum for service learning. And thank you to you all for being amazing classmates. It's been a joy to learn from you and your valuable insights and interdisciplinary experiences. And I know that you're going to make a great impact on this world.